Fill in the blank time here on 120 Sports. Theo Epstein has been named the world's greatest leader by Fortune magazine. So let's keep it in the world of sports. Dylan, in your opinion, the best leader in sports is blank.
Greg Popovich. Obviously, when we think of leadership, when it comes to sports, success is tied into that. You have to be successful. You can't be a middle-of-the-road organization with the task at hand. In this case, it's basketball. The Spurs have set the bar. They've set the standard for greatness in the NBA, and they've seen other dynasties come and go. I mean, they've seen Kobe and Shaq come and go. They've seen the Big Three in Boston, the Big Three in Miami. Cleveland now forming its own super team, Golden State, and the whole time just steady as she goes without forming these unbelievable super teams while handling their business with the utmost of class. Greg Popovich has run a team along with R.C. Buford and the ownership group and the front office of this team. They've been the class of the league. And when you talk about 5 championships with different factions of players on the backs of the Admiral and Tim Duncan early to transition Tony Parker, who's going to be a Hall of Fame point guard in my estimation, Manu Ginobili, the international flair, the progressive nature of going outside the box to find talent that fits this team. And I think just from a human standpoint, Greg Popovich is just someone I respect and admire extremely. Handling his business on the court, being someone that I think is a real role model as far as the way to handle yourself, the way to handle your business, and the way to treat other people. I think Greg Popovich is at the top of the list. No matter what he set his mind on, he was going to succeed. It just so happened to be coaching in the world of basketball, and he's been tremendously successful.
I'll roll with a coach, too. Hasn't had nearly the success of a Greg Popovich, but when I think about leader, I think about somebody who's a trailblazer, somebody who thinks outside of the box to me as a leader, and I'll roll with Jim Harbaugh. Doesn't get much outside of the box than Harbaugh. What he's done there in Michigan started with the satellite camps that ruffled a lot of feathers. To me, when you're a leader, sometimes you're going to upset some people. You're going to shake some things up. You're going to do some things different. When you look at what he's done in terms of recruiting, whether it was on signing day a year ago with the Night of Stars, when you had Ric Flair, Tom Brady, and Derek Jeter, whether you look at the sleepovers, I mean, he was able to land that kid. I mean, he's getting the elite players from all across the country. And although he hasn't won championships, he has been very successful. I mean, a couple of 10-win seasons at Michigan. You look at what he did with the 49ers, took them to the Super Bowl. Even when he was at Stanford, he won a ton of games. So he might not have the rings and the titles to his resume, but in terms of, to me, getting the most out of people, maximizing talent, his message might get old. It might get stale after a few years, but I think that actually happens with some leaders in the real world too. Yeah. Like after a while, their time at one place runs its course and they go to another place and try to elevate them. So certainly not the credentials or resume of Popovich,
he's a winner,
but certainly feels like he's a leader in his own right.
Yeah, he's a winner and there's no mistaking who's in charge wherever he's at.
Hands down.
He says, fall in line. We're going to win. We're going to do this together. We're going to do it my way. And that way has tended to work. I like that choice.